So I will apologize here, because when it came to the 2026 Milano Cortina Winter Olympic Games, there was a fairly particular Detroit Red Wings name that we didn't really talk about too much. He played for Latvia, he was a pretty good player in Europe, and now he's in Grand Rapids. Today we are talking about Eduards Tralmaks. And the reason we are talking about him is actually not really a great one. It's because reports are coming out that this guy might actually be on his way out of Detroit. Take a look at this. Eduards Tralmaks is a Detroit Red Wings AHL guy. He's playing for Grand Rapids, 26 points in 46 games played, 18 goals and 8 assists. We did make a video back when he signed with the Red Wings organization back in the day. I say back in the day as if it wasn't just literally a summer ago. But last season, Tralmaks was in the Rytiri Kladno team on the Czech League. He had 51 points in 48 games. We mentioned how he was one of the top Czech guys in the league over there. Obviously, he's not Czech himself. He's from Latvia. But he was a highly touted European free agent that wanted to get a shot in North America. The Detroit Red Wings were able to sign him. He went over to Grand Rapids, and he had the season he is having right now. A goal scorer, maybe not the best overall game, but certainly somebody to pay attention to. At the Olympic Games, Tralmaks had 4 points in 4 games for Team Latvia, 3 goals and an assist. Obviously, the Latvians didn't really have the best tournament. They ended up losing more games than they won, but Tralmaks was still able to score a goal in each of the team's last 3 games. And now we have ourselves this report coming out of Bob Duff on Detroit Hockey Now. Here's a report for you. Red Wings prospect is set to return to Europe. Tralmaks is going to join Kladno next season, according to Czech media reports. Now pause before we continue on with that. The fact that Tralmaks is technically a prospect is so funny to me. He's 29 years old, 6'4", 209, he's a big dude. But a 29-year-old being called a prospect certainly doesn't feel appropriate, in my opinion. It's like the Michael Bunting situation all over again, is it not? Although, if Eduards Tralmaks was an NHL player, he would be well over the Calder age requirements. Let's go out there and read the article posted by Bob Duff. Link is going to be in the description below. It could be that Tralmaks will be a one-and-done as a Detroit Red Wings prospect, as there are published reports out of Czechia that this Latvian forward will be joining Kladno of the Czech Extraliga next season. According to the Czech website iSport, Tralmaks is set to sign a 5-year contract with Kladno, with the first year of the contract being 2026-2027. Take a look at the tweet that goes out there and describes everything. Transfer bomb. Eduards Tralmaks has signed a 5-year deal with Kladno. Energy from the Knights, and he will receive 200,000 euros as financial compensation for the contract buyout, a source reports. Most likely, the compensation will go to Carlo Viveri, as the club holds the player's rights in Europe. Now, I do not know how European transfers end up working. I'm not sure why Carlo Viveri is being mentioned as a team here. Maybe they have his rights and the Kladno team will need to be able to buy him out from those rights in order to get him onto their squad. But a 5-year contract in Kladno will take Tralmaks until he is 34 years old, essentially. So that will be probably the last stop of his pro hockey playing career. And obviously it makes sense, right? He was with Kladno for a few seasons there, doing some pretty good work with them and scoring a heck of a ton of points. He did have some time in North America earlier on in his hockey playing career, though. Okay, I say sometime. He was mostly a North American hockey player between the USHL and the University of Maine, the Black Bears organization, then going over to the AHL and the ECHL before heading over to Europe. Seemed like Tralmaks just wanted one more go at the pro hockey scene in North America before fully committing to Czechia and their league. And the Detroit Red Wings were able to give him that opportunity. Doesn't seem like he was able to fulfill it in the ways that he wanted to. Let's go back over to the article over here. The Red Wings signed Tralmaks to a 1-year contract last summer. In 24-25, he led the Czech Extraliga in scoring with 51 points while playing for Kladno. After signing with the Wings, Tralmaks also agreed to a future deal with Czech club Karlovy Vary that would kick in next season if he didn't make the NHL. However, the report indicated that Kladno had paid 200,000 euros to acquire the rights to Tralmaks. Ah, I see. That's how it works out, eh? So, he signed a backup deal just in case. Tromach signed a future deal with Karlovy Vary that said, hey, if I don't end up becoming a full-time NHL player, if I'm not a Red Wing, then I'm going to sign with you guys. But Kladno went out there and bought out those rights and said, yeah, no, we'll just take him on instead. We'll give you 200,000 euros, Karlovy Vary, in order to acquire the rights of this player. The report continued to say that Tralmaks and Kladno reached an agreement on a 5-year deal. Tralmaks has scored 18 goals in 46 games this season with the Griffins. At the recent Milano Olympics, he led Latvia with 3 goals in 4 games. He scores goals, Griffins coach Dan Watson said. I think there's still parts of his game that he can clean up a little bit. I think the defensive side of the puck is probably the biggest thing, and we have had conversations about that. It's not that he's bad at it, it's just being consistent, you know? And sometimes guys who have offensive minds, guys who want to score, that's what they think about. And then they lean for offense versus really being responsible because they think that's going to take away from their offensive game. Skating is another questionable factor for Tralmaks too. He's a heavy guy, but that doesn't mean he can't skate. It doesn't mean he can't get there. It's short bursts, and then from there. That's one thing he could probably work on a little bit more. So it does seem like there are a number of things that Tralmaks could or should improve in his game if he were to continue his path towards becoming an NHL player. Although, again, the guy's 29 years old. If he's not good enough to make the NHL now, and the coach in the AHL is still calling him out for his defensive game, his off-puck play, and his skating especially, then it doesn't really seem like there is an opportunity for Eduards Tralmaks to become an NHLer at any stage of his career at this point. So maybe a 5-year deal with Kladno in the Czech League is the best course of action here. He was good in that league. He led the entire league in points. He had success there, and it didn't seem like his overall level of play, his skating or his defensive inefficiencies, was an issue back then. So if he can just go back over to Kladno, start producing points again, be one of the top point scorers every single year, then I think that's a very reasonable way for his hockey playing career to finish off here. Whether it was with Karlovy Vary or with Rattiri Kladno, obviously the team would have made a difference, but he was so good with Kladno last season that it's not surprising that he would want to go back, right? So with all that said, if you are a Grand Rapids Griffins fan, I want you to let me know your thoughts. How do you feel about Eduards Tralmaks, a Red Wings prospect, quote-unquote, 29-year-old prospect, yeeting away from North America and finding himself back in Czechia to play the rest of his hockey-playing career? What are your thoughts on Tralmaks so far? He has been a pretty decent goal scorer for Grand Rapids, but where do you see his game going, and what have you seen out of him so far that you wanted to talk about? Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.